There's gazpacho on the menu.
To my channel, my name is Raw Wellness. I'm here to help you attain wellness and discuss things that make me happy. And one of the things that make me happy is travel. Today I'm going to teach you how to set yourself up for success for visiting the beautiful island nation of Cuba. It's a great time in history that as Americans, we're able to travel and visit Cuba. Of course, there are some things that may change in the next months, but if you do have the opportunity, take advantage of it. And I just want to make sure that I set you up so that you'll have... First things first, you will need a passport, you will need a visa, and if you are traveling with a cruise, you will need your SeaPass card. Going with a cruise line is that they organize all of your visa paperwork. When we went through the embarkation process, which is the process when you go onto the boat, we were just able to purchase a visa right there. It was $75 US, and there was a paper that came with it, and that was required that we had to carry for about 5 years. But it was no less easier than buying a drink package through the boat.
Start doing your research, what places you really want to see, and hire a local as soon as you find an itinerary and a driver that matches what you're looking to do. And you get to drive around in one of these sweet cars.
Please make sure to exchange your money before you go to Cuba. If you have the opportunity, you can always contact your bank. Let them know well in advance, I would say about a month, that you will need something called the CUCs. There are two forms of currency used widely throughout Cuba. Actually only in Cuba, and that would be the Cuban peso or the CUC, or CUC as they say. The way to identify them is that the CUCs actually have monuments on them, Cuban monuments, and the Cuban peso just has faces. So that way you can tell. And also Cuban pesos aren't as accessible. They're used mostly, for example, if you were going on the bus and you were a local, you'd maybe pay for a bus ticket with it. So it's something that you wouldn't really have access to, but maybe if you bought something and they give it back to you, that way that you could identify on the money, oh, this doesn't have a monument on this, may I have a CUC back please, or a CUC. I'm sure they would be happy to oblige. Talk about water and water scarcity in Cuba just briefly. The population of Cuba has grown over the years, and it's amassed about 2.2 million people. Havana specifically, that's where I was visiting. Now, most of those people are centered in Havana. It has the highest population of the whole country. With a growing number of tourism each day, that means that not only are the locals sharing water, but also tourists. Now, it is not uncommon that the water is extremely scarce, and it's also even shut off during times of the day just to conserve it. There's even as much as when you go outside some of the homes that they'll have big barrels filled with water outside. So water is definitely a commodity within the country, and because of that, you must take caution whenever you're going to eat something in Cuba. Now, I know everybody's excited to eat, delicious food, rice and beans, I can't think of anything else right now. I just love rice and beans, and they're delicious. I do recommend trying that, but I really wanted to exercise caution, and this is what I did wrong, was that when I went to the restaurants, the Paladar, which if you watch my video below, that is a restaurant that is run by a family. It's not run by the government. So because of that, it's a fairly new concept, and then the availability of food and resources in general is still very limited because it's a new concept. Well, in doing so, actually when I went to the Paladar, I had rice and beans, which were fantastic, but I actually ordered gazpacho to try it on the side. I just really wanted to try it. I like gazpacho. I just don't have it a lot, so I was excited when I was like, oh, gazpacho's on the menu. So it was kind of stupid, but long story short, because the vegetables are washed with water from Cuba, I got very ill. And the gazpacho is also a cold soup, so it's not going to treat any bacteria. So hot food is always a better option for you because the bacteria has a higher probability of burning off with a higher temperature. Science, and the colder food puts you more at risk. So I felt it almost immediately after I ate, and if I would do one brings me to my next point. I would definitely recommend, and it might sound silly, of bringing your own toilet paper or baby wipes around with you. Just put them in your backpack. I'm just gonna just put it out there. You know, it's a beautiful country, but there are limited resources, and there are things that, you know, that are not wildly accessible. One of which are restrooms. Because water is an issue. Toilets don't flush as efficiently if they do flush. Um, eh, Restrooms are, you know, are either paid toilets or just not really available. So I would just be mindful that, you know, if you have the opportunity, just maybe bring your own toilet paper, bring your own things. And I'm not saying just use the bathroom anywhere. I'm just saying that there is a possibility that those things may not be equipped in the bathrooms. So some of the comforts of your own home, they don't have. They'll offer you a bathroom, but there may not be any toilet paper. There may not be any hand towels. There may not be any soap. So if you, you know, I personally, if I had known that, I would have brought soap or even like sanitizer or paper towels, anything, toilet paper, in my backpack. I was already carrying a backpack, so it would have been more convenient and a lot more hygienic to travel.